Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Intro to Stand-Up Comedy course with myself, Zach Miller. I will be your guru through this online experience for people who are trying to start or develop their access into the world of stand-up comedy. I am the house MC and booker at the Comedy Palace in San Diego and have been for over 8 years. I have produced and booked thousands of shows all over the country, and very, very many of those in Southern California, one of the biggest stand-up comedy markets on the planet. I will be joined for this experience by my broham, Mr. Jonathan Bird, who is a San Diego comedian and has been helping me run the class for the last year, has expanded into sellout status, where I just can't take any more students with the time I have in San Diego, which is why we're taking it on to the world now via this portal and set of videos. Johnny Bird, are you feeling good about what's about to happen?
I'm feeling hot, and I'm excited to join Zach with this process, this learning adventure. It's going to be fun. I definitely have a perspective, and thank you for letting me be part of what's going on with you.
Bird is a newer comic in the Southern California comedy scene. He's been doing a great job, and he's really been intense on helping me run the comedy class every week at the Palace, as it has now grown to sellout status, where I literally can't fit any more students in my weekly class, which is why we're taking it to the world. Occasionally, because he's newer, he'll say something, and I will correct that, maybe sometimes in a fun and making fun of his, in general, doofy-looking way. And occasionally, he will correct me, because no one is perfect, and I am always learning, and I look forward to continuing to learn with you guys as we interact and you watch these videos. There are lots of stand-up comedy classes. There are a lot in San Diego, Southern California. There are lots online. You can take a comedy class now online, I think, with Steve Martin, which I think is pretty rad. I teach my class from my perspective and the journey that I've taken. And the one thing I try and really focus on throughout the course is your voice. Your voice. Your voice. Because with all the careers I've watched be hot and go away, all the ones that I've seen slowly rise and fall off a cliff, the ones I've seen continue to rise, and the people that I've seen maintain stand-up success over decades are the people who have a clear and interesting perspective, also known as your voice. So we'll be focused mostly on that. And I coach in a perspective where I try and have your comedy and your jokes come from your natural perspective and your voice, because jokes and styles of jokes and ways you can do jokes are always going to change. Your voice, your character is what's going to continue to be valuable. People will invoke laughs in many different ways, which is why I don't teach the class in the way of trying to, have you define parody or here is this exact tactic of way to write a joke, because I think there's a million ways to write a joke. It's an art form. It's an art form infused into a craft. So the craft is about repetition and tactics. The art form is about creativity. I would say it's 90% craft, 10% art form, but that 10% is the difference. That's the perspective. That's the most important part. That's what's lasting, and that's what really engages people. So I'm taking it from that perspective. What I'm trying to say is take all the comedy classes. I don't know everything. Speak to as many comics you can. Speak to as many people you can. Get different perspectives. What you are going to experience in this class is my perspective on stand-up comedy based on my experience and some cool little tricks I learned along the way. But get as many perspectives as you can. Find the ones you respect and absorb them. And hopefully one day you'll have your perspective that will take you on the journey of joke, funny, party, rocking crowds. What do you think, Birdman? Do you think some of these people got what it takes to get hot and stand up?
I think if you've got the mindset, you can get through anything. And absolutely, I mean, if I can do it with relative success, I think anybody can. And it's really just about getting and knowing who you are and just being able to say with confidence, hey, this is what I think about that. And then if you have a funny experience or a funny anecdote, then absolutely. I think that's exactly that's what I'm still learning, but I've learned very well in a very short period of time.
Right. And I think I've had hundreds of people finish my class, and everybody does it for different reasons. Some people are going to take this class or take a comedy class in general because they just want to try it. It's a bucket list thing. It's like jumping out of an airplane or going snorkeling with dolphins. You just want to say you did it, and that's absolutely fine. Be honest with yourself. If you don't really want to do stand-up comedy long term, don't do it. If you're doing it for the money, don't. Because this is not the business to make a lot of money in. But it's doable. It is doable if you put in your time. But that's not the reason to do it. I'll tell you that. If you do it and you like it and you want to just do it sometimes, but you have a job or you have kids and you just don't have a lot of time to dedicate to it, that would be considered being a hobby comic, which means you do it on a continuous basis, but as a hobby, versus somebody who's going full force trying to work towards being a professional. It is a full-time thing. You have to be on stage in Southern California 7 to 10 times a week, and your daytimes are spent doing social media, writing jokes, writing scripts, creating ideas, collaborating with other artists, networking. It's a full-time job, and if you want to be taken seriously, you have to put full time into it. If you want to do it as a hobby, which many do, I'm bromies with many hobby comics and hobby comicettes. It's okay. Just a forewarning, the most important way to be a well-accepted and liked hobby comic is honesty. Be honest about the fact that you're a hobby comic, and clarify that to people who are not hobby comics, who do go at it full force and make tremendous sacrifices to try and chase the ultimate dream, which is waking up in the morning and getting paid to be creative. So if you're honest, you can be a hobby comic for years, slowly develop your craft, and then maybe some point have the circumstances where you can then take a shot at going professional when you have the time to put towards that, and the community will welcome you because you've always been honest. When you finish this class, either live or online, and then you want to start doing stand-up, honesty with your peers, with other artists, with producers, with people who do business is the number one thing that will continue to move you forward. If you walk up to a person who runs a show and tell them, hey, what's up, man? This is in Idaho. There's one bar in town that does stand-up, and some guy runs the show. You don't know who he is, but you want to perform on it because you just watched my class online. You walk up to that person at the show, you introduce yourself, and you say, hi, I'm Denny McCrackle-Smackle from Idaho, and I just did Zach Miller's intro to comedy class online. I've been writing. I'm really excited to hit a stage, and I'd love to do a spot on your show. That booker's going to be like, sure, bro, no problem. You can do 5 minutes on my show next month. Tell your friends. They're going to want to come see you because Joey McCrackle-Schnackle needs people to show up to his shows. You picking up what I'm putting down? So cool. You go up there. Your 5 minutes is pretty good. You get some laughs. The booker's going to be like, man, I like Joey McCrackle-Dackle because he kept it real with me. As he grows, I'm going to continue to support that person. On the other hand, if Joey McCrackle-Dackle goes into that booker after just taking my stand-up course, which means you're very new, and says, hey, what's up, man? I'm a comedian. I want to do your show. I'll kill it. I could do 15, 20 minutes, no problem. You should headline me, bro. Like, I'm ready to kill it because they need attention and they need it all and they need it right now. That's not going to work out good because you're probably going to bomb, and then that booker's not going to trust anything you say, and you'll never do another show together. So honesty, be honest with yourself, be honest with the people that you interact with, and start from that point, and you will always, always excel at the appropriate pace.